operate a pharmacy, TSBP is taking a close look at the top 10 most important things you must know to make it happen. To answer this question, I sat down with Director of Professional Services, Allison Benz, to take me through that list. So tell me a little bit about what it takes to operate a pharmacy. Once a pharmacist has already opened up a pharmacy, what are the first steps that they need to take?
Well, a pharmacy needs to be open and operating with a significant number of transactions within 6 months of receiving their pharmacy license.
So explain to me what happens when there is a change in the pharmacist in charge at a pharmacy.
Well, first of all, the pharmacist in charge needs to take an inventory on the date of the change. Then they need to notify the board that the change was made, as well as that the inventory was taken, and that needs to be done within 10 days of the change of pharmacist in charge.
Okay, so tell me what a pharmacy needs to do when they are going to be changing location or changing their name.
When a pharmacy moves or changes its name, a new pharmacy application must be filled out and sent to the board within 10 days of the change. You can get the forms and more information about the change of name and location on our website under the pharmacies link.
What happens when a pharmacy changes ownership?
When a pharmacy changes ownership, a new pharmacy application needs to be filled out and sent to the board's office. Examples of types of change of ownerships could be a sole proprietor or an individual owner changes to a corporation, or a corporation dissolves and changes to a partnership. But when that occurs, the license application is filled out, the previous owner's pharmacy license needs to be returned with the application and along with appropriate fees.
What are the steps that need to be taken when a pharmacy closes?
Well, first of all, the PIC must send to the board within 10 days of closing the following information: a written notice that the pharmacy is closing or has closed with the date of the actual closing, the pharmacy license, a statement that a closing inventory was taken, along with a notice of the manner in which the drugs that the pharmacy possessed were transferred or disposed of, and then the location of all of the pharmacy's records where they will be stored.
When a pharmacy first opens, what are the initial requirements for an inventory?
The initial inventory is completed on the initial day of business, and the pharmacist in charge is required to take that inventory, or he can designate it to another individual. The inventory needs to include all the controlled substances as well as now be fine. It must be signed by the pharmacist in charge and then notarized within 3 working days from the completion of the inventory.
So after the initial inventory is complete, how often must a pharmacy conduct inventory thereafter?
A pharmacy needs to take an annual inventory. It must be taken on May 1 of each year, or on the pharmacy's general physical inventory date, which could be any day that the pharmacy chooses, as long as it's the same date each year that they do their inventory.
So once the inventories have been recorded, where and how should they be stored in the pharmacy?
The inventories need to be filed separately from all other records in the pharmacy, and they need to be available for inspection by the board for at least 2 years.
So tell me a little bit about what a pharmacy needs to do when they've discovered that their prescription drugs are missing from their pharmacy.
Well, the theft or significant loss of any controlled substance must be reported to the board immediately upon discovery. And this information can be submitted to the board on a DEA Form 106, which you can get information about that on the DEA website. In addition, a pharmacy is required to report in writing immediately upon discovery the theft or significant loss of any dangerous drugs by submitting the name and the quantity of all the dangerous drugs stolen or lost from the pharmacy.
Aside from all of the procedural requirements that a pharmacy must follow, what's another important issue that they need to be aware of to show compliance with the Board of Pharmacy?
Well, all pharmacy technicians and pharmacy technician trainees must be registered with the board before they begin working in the pharmacy. Pharmacy technicians must renew their registration every 2 years and cannot work in the pharmacy with a expired or delinquent registration. In addition, pharmacy technician trainees are allowed to register for a period of 2 years, and they cannot renew their registration. The pharmacy technician and the trainees should post a copy of their registration certificates in the pharmacy where they are working.
TSBP would like to thank you for watching this video, and as always, be sure to visit our website for any additional information about the agency.